Right, so now that we're all stuck inside our homes, or at the very least within a 5 kilometer radius of our homes, like honestly, do you actually have to go to that holiday home you have in Clare that you visit like once every few years? I decided like I'd get a list of a few people doing some pretty good stuff during coronavirus, maybe to lighten the mood a bit. So yeah, quarantine's a bit depressing. What with the whole I can't see my friends in person, so I'll have to resort to a different way of talking to them. My hair is now so long, I think I might just become an anime protagonist. Or, on a different topic. Every time I go shopping, I might contract a deadly virus that results in the death of my whole family. But anyways, I decided, I'd put a small thing together. A list of people helping might lighten the mood. Well, with that being said, let's move on to our first fun flu fixer. You know what, that's a terrible name, but here, we're sticking with it. So, our first lad is a Canadian fella named Quinn Callender. No, not that, it's spelled in a much more wrong way. Now, he is a Canadian scout who happens to own a 3D printer. Now, what do you get when you mix those two together? No, you do not get hours upon hours of fun of making plastic woggles to fit on your pet moose's antlers. No, you get a guy who decides to do this. He ended up making a 3D printing design for ear guards that would stop nurses from getting pain in their ears from wearing masks and having the rope from it rub against it like that. No, it actually holds the string of the mask and lets them be a bit more comfortable, which, in my opinion, is pretty radical. He ended up making the designs for it. He put them in the public domain, which is also very good, very cool, very trustworthy guy. I like him. Scout's honor is a nice thing to do. Moving on. So, for our next one, it's a bit of a bigger group than just one scout with a 3D printer, and they're making stuff that's kind of more in demand than some ear not hurty things. Those ear not hurty things are still important though, but these are slightly more necessary for day-to-day medical business, all that jazz. So, 42 workers in the Braskem petrochemical plant in America lived in the factory for 28 days to manufacture millions of kilos of polypropylene, a chemical that is needed to produce medical items, sanitary items, including PPE, so masks and stuff. A very good material, and very good guys for, pulling the biggest overtime since the dawn of workers' rights to make masks. Like these guys, they worked in a factory, lived in the factory, they worked 12-hour shifts, they turned the break room into a mess hall, they turned the emergency operations center into a lounge, and they just, slept on the floor. They brought a few bits of shaving cream, razors, all that good stuff, and, they just said, okay, work 12-hour shifts, only see my family through Zoom calls, hey, we get some PPE made. These guys were praised by doctors across America for their efforts, so much so that Braskem Petrochemical decided, let's move it to another, and they called it a live-in to make an event of it. I highly respect them, and I love what they did. But do you have to exploit workers' rights? Well, you do, because they can't work from home. It's like just click a button, you've pressed the lever. But still, it is a very good idea. I like it. So, that begs the question, what could you or I do to help with coronavirus? Obviously, if you have a 3D printer, you could get some of Quinn Callender's designs, print them out. There you go. You've helped. Just spread them to doctors, nurses, that kind of thing.
Note:
PPE equipment is literally the only thing that you should be spreading to anyone, including health workers. But then, let's say you're a normal person. What else could you do? Well, you could say, go do some shopping for people who can't leave the house.
Tom,
Yeah?
we need some watch videos.
What? No, like...
Yes, it happened again.
You could maybe connect with friends who might be feeling distant through stuff like Zoom, just like the Brascombe workers. I mean, personally, I've been enjoying doing like cooking lessons or quizzes with my family on Zoom. Or even you could try and get in contact with, say, a nurse or a shopkeeper who is still working in these conditions, and just say, here, look, do you need any help? If they have a cat, feed it. If they have grass, maybe cut it when they're out. If they find themselves overworked, maybe like make them a dinner or something, like lasagna. That seems to work. And just be a decent person, essentially. See what needs doing and get to it. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, you need to look after yourself. So you should keep as active as possible and like maintain a good sleep schedule. And just like make sure that work you're doing doesn't invade other parts of life. So like maybe have a specific part of the house that you do your work in, and it's there, it stays there. The rest of the house is yours, but that is like the work place. Yeah, like watch a bit of Tiger King or Mandalorian depending on what you have. But like make sure you don't become a couch potato. Because like when you do that, you end up just on a downward spiral. It's not fun. But at the end of the day, just stay safe, stay in, and stay connected with loved ones. You shall be grand. Thank you. And that'll be all.